Stay tuned. Ahead, I'll talk with Ben Silverman about The Night Before Christmas at Dunder Mifflin. It's a new take on the classic Christmas story for fans of The Office. Hi, I'm Dan Skinner, and this is Some Books Considered. Ben Silverman is the Emmy and Golden Globe award-winning producer behind The Office. He also served as an executive producer of Ugly Betty, Jane the Virgin, and The Tudors, among others. He teamed up with Brian Baumgartner, who played Kevin on The Office, to co-write The Night Before Christmas at Dunder Mifflin. Ben, welcome to Some Books Considered.
Thank you for having me.
This isn't the first time that you and Brian have written together, but it is the first time you've written a book like this. So tell us about the inspiration for it.
Well, we really thought there was a great opportunity to give the fans of our show, The Office, a gift. And we love our Christmas episodes, and they've done so well. So many people watch them in marathons. There haven't been that many new Christmas perennials produced in a while. As you see, if you watch across the TV landscape, Frosty, and Rudolph are still dominant players in the Christmas season, let alone It's a Wonderful Life and some of the brilliant work that's been done previously in and around the Christmas movie realm. And we thought this book could serve as a kind of connectivity to how much love the fans were having of those Christmas episodes. And the book itself is actually illustrated, beautifully illustrated. And there are many touch points to some of those Christmas episodes and identities related to our characters and what they went through on those episodes.
Well, that's the fun part about reading this book, is there's lots of sort of inside information that only fans of the show would recognize.
100%. We would call them Easter eggs, but it is a Christmas book. But there are lots of little nuggets for the fans of the show who are, consistently so proud of what they discover in the background of the show, or how deep we go with the characters that were created for the show.
Now, in this version of the story, Brian Baumgartner's character, Kevin, is the one who witnesses all of this. It sounds like a fun project. So what was the creative process like for the two of you putting this book together?
Well, both Brian and I really enjoy each other, so it's a lot easier to work together when you like each other. And the television industry is a highly collaborative medium. Usually, when you write a book, it's a very solitary, process, and you're kind of alone. But here we not only got to do it together, but we were connected to the incredible illustrator Glenn Keane, who had worked with Brian on an animated show he does where he plays the bear. And Glenn actually was a Disney animator who did The Beast for Beauty and the Beast. He did the genie for those movies, and is an incredible illustrator. And so the illustrations were a major part of this. And then within the words themselves, the rhyming was maybe the most difficult part of how Brian and I would work together. But the original, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, lays out a very strong, pentameter, for us to work off of, and a foundation for a story, plus all the things that happened in the original show. So it was almost more like editing than originating.
So, as you mentioned, the character Kevin gets to witness all of this. And of course, all the other characters get their moment in the plot as well. But I imagine for Brian, that must have just been fun, putting Kevin in the spotlight.
Well, of course, Kevin Malone, one of the most beloved characters of the series, worked in the accounting office in the background. The center of this office world really resonated around Jim and Pam and Michael Scott and Dwight Schrute as our kind of big four. But the secondary characters took on so much love from the audience as we would service them and find opportunities for them to expand their performance and find other elements to their character, especially when you do over 200 episodes. You're able to really showcase multiple members of the cast and in different ways. And I think the book does that so well, so that if you're a fan of one character or another, you're going to find those characters represented in this book, and you're going to have that emotional connection that you had, to the series itself. And I think it's also something amazing about The Office is that um, people who watched the show, yes, will rewatch the show, but their children have been introduced to the show, and in some cases, their grandchildren. And so we are really a multi-generational show that has different levels of appeal to different demographics. And this book is something that you can have all together. It's something that a dad could give to a son, that a son could give to a dad. But either way, it could all be read together and enjoyed as a family, which was very important for Brian and I as parents.
I'm talking with Ben Silverman about The Night Before Christmas at Dunder Mifflin, and our conversation continues in a moment. If you're enjoying this discussion, please subscribe, like, and click on the bell so you know when I post new interviews. And thank you. So Ben, to give us a flavor of this book, to let readers know what they're going to find here, could you read a bit of it for us?
Absolutely. I'm actually going to be reading it this Wednesday to the entire Aspen Country Day School. So I'm excited to read it to you here, a little bit of our fun book here. The Night Before Christmas at Dunder Mifflin. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through Dunder Mifflin, not an accountant was stirring, not a mouse was a clicking. Pam's painting was hung by reception with care, and Stanley had filled in his last crossword square. The holiday party was over, and Scranton's best employees were nestled all snug, asleep at their PCs. But as Kevin dreamed blissfully of a full chili pot, he awoke to a clatter down in the parking lot. Away to the window he flew like a flash. Oh no, he thought, had Dwight's Trans Am crashed? When he opened the blinds and looked into the night, Kevin's eyes were filled with an impossible sight. There he saw Santa, dressed all in red, and behind him an elf pulling a sled. Santa tiptoed toward the building, ordering the elf to move quickly. I can't, the elf hissed. Moses' shoes are too slippery. That's a little sample of our beautiful book here. And I think for those who know Mose, who was Dwight's cousin and part of Schrute Farms, and those who know that Dwight drives a Trans Am and understand some of the great detail that we put into these characters, I think it'll really be delightful.
And I won't spoil how it comes up, but of course there's one of Michael Scott's famous "that's what she said" moments.
Hey, that's literally, I can't tell you how many times a day I use that line. And also, there are times when I'm signing a book and I have to like put something in there that I can then do in quotes, "that's what she said," and then sign it. Because as we all know, there is nothing better than a well-timed "that's what she said."
Well, this is the first officially sanctioned The Office storybook. So, do you think you might see more storybooks in the future?
Absolutely. We are looking at other touch points and, kind of icons of The Office to do books connected to. And who knows, maybe this book could even become its own, Christmas special at one point with the brilliant illustrations. But we are looking to do more of these around some of the other great kind of episodes of The Office that were done in the seasonality that was required of them. So you are spot on. I hope this is one of many, but I'm very proud to say that we are on the New York Times bestseller list, and I think that for fans of the show and fans of a good Christmas book, it's readily available and really a beautiful book too. Like as I tease Brian all the time, to judge a book by its cover, we're in good position on this one.
Well, before I let you go, I want to talk to you about another project you're involved with, which will be fun for fans of The Office. And that's you've set something or working on something that's sort of set in that same universe as The Office. Tell us about it.
That is absolutely true. So we see The Office as a universe, right? We had all these characters, we had these different environments that these characters lived and worked, whether it was out of the office, in the warehouse, in Athlete, where many of the characters spun out to later on. And we are currently in production in California on the Universal lot of a new Office related series. It's not a spin-off, it's not a reboot, but it's set in the world of The Office. And we're hoping for the fans of the show and new fans that they really love it and find the great heart and comedy that made the original as well. It took so long to get the courage to do it because the original is such a jewel and so important to all of us. But we are taking the risk and we are making the bet, and I'm hoping your audience will fall in love with the show when it comes out in next year.
The book is The Night Before Christmas at Dunder Mifflin by Brian Baumgartner and Ben Silverman. Ben, thank you for talking with me today.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be connected to your audience, and thank you for all the good work you do supporting the literary world.
If you'd like to purchase The Night Before Christmas at Dunder Mifflin, I've placed a link for you in the description below. And if you enjoyed this conversation, please take a moment to subscribe, like, and click on the bell so you know when I post new interviews. Meanwhile, here are 2 more interviews you might find interesting. I'm Dan Skinner. Thank you for watching this edition of Some Books Considered.